This is a very quick run through of how to cast on, knit and then cast off again with one of the new ruffle scarf yarns. There are several different brands available, but they all knit up in pretty much the same way, so you'll be able to adapt this method to whichever particular brand you're using. So to start with, open out a few inches of your scarf yarn and hold it for this first row so that it's curling away from you. And then taking your needle, simply insert it through the top edge of the yarn. After an inch or so, bring it back through, and after another inch or so, back through again. And carry on like that until you've got the required number of stitches cast on. Now I want quite a skinny scarf, so I'm going to cast on 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. That's the first row cast on. Don't worry too much about getting the spaces between the loops uniform. You'll still get that lovely ruffled effect. And don't worry either about this raw edge, because when the scarf's finished you can easily just turn that over and catch it to neaten it up with just a few stitches of a matching sewing cotton. Now for your next row, taking your other needle, insert it through the first loop on your first needle, and then instead of winding the yarn around the needle, you insert the tip of your second needle through the yarn again, and using that as your working loop, pull it back through the first stitch and off the needle. So you're knitting just as you normally would, with the exception that instead of winding the yarn around the needle, you're bringing it over the tip of your needle. And that's basically the only difference with knitting with ruffle scarf yarn. The stitches are otherwise formed in exactly the same way. You knit every row, so you use knit stitch for every row to form a garter stitch overall. And once you get the hang of it, you'll find it goes really quickly. That's the first row done. You'll easily be able to do a scarf, I'd have thought, in an evening if you're just casting on a skinny scarf like this. And you can see at the end of the first row you've already started to get that lovely ruffled effect. Now I'll just quickly show you how to cast off, and again it's pretty much the same as you normally would, with the proviso that you bring the yarn over the end of the needle instead of around it. So you knit your first 2 stitches just as you previously have been doing, and then as you'd normally cast off, you bring the first stitch over the second, and you knit the third and second over the third. The fiddliest bit is keeping your yarn opened out, but once you get the hang of being able to do that as you're knitting, you'll be absolutely fine. And at the end of the piece anyway, you can just give it a fluff out to make sure that all the ruffles are fully open. On your last stitch, snip off the end and keep your finger in the loop, because you do have a tendency to lose it, so keep that finger in the loop and then bring your loose end through the loop and pull tight. And again, once you've finished the scarf, you can just catch that with matching sewing cotton to neaten it all up. So that's it, that's your scarf cast on, knit and then cast off again. Happy knitting!